until I saw the earth in motion, in the wind, a steady change, and the ever rolling ocean. I believe in solid ground, until I saw the earth in motion, in the wind, a steady change, and the ever rolling ocean. I believed in solid ground until I saw the earth in motion, in the winds a steady change, and the ever rolling ocean. I believed in solid ground until I saw the earth in motion. Well, I'd love to share a story with you all. Desmond Gets Free. Now, Desmond lived in the most beautiful meadow in all the land. Every morning, Desmond would wake with the sunrise and spend the day playing in that beautiful meadow. And every evening, he would go to sleep under the beautiful starry sky. One night, though, Desmond awoke to find that it was still dark out. He tried to roll over, get more comfortable, go back to sleep, but his tail was throbbing. Feeling behind him, he felt that there was some kind of boulder stuck on top of his tail. He could hardly move. His tail was throbbing and it hurt. He tried pushing the boulder behind him, but it was no use. He tried tugging his tail, but it didn't help. He tried pushing and tugging and tugging and pushing, but it was no use. He was stuck. Just when he had about given up, he saw a giraffe wander by. Good news, he thought. He called out to the giraffe. "Oh, giraffe, it seems that some kind of boulder has fallen just on my tail in the middle of the meadow. Could you nudge it just a few inches in the other direction so I could get free?" Well, the giraffe laughed at Desmond the way giraffes do. "Silly mouse," it said. "That's no boulder that's fallen on your tail. That's an elephant that has fallen asleep on your tail in the middle of the meadow." Well, even better news, thought Desmond. If you could just gently wake up the elephant and ask it to roll over just a few inches in the other direction, I could go free. "I don't know about that," said the giraffe. "You know what they say about letting sleeping elephants lie. I find it's best not to get involved in other animals' business. I find it's best to remain neutral in times like these." "Well," said Desmond, "I do not appreciate your neutrality." The giraffe wandered off, leaving Desmond alone. He tried waking up the elephant. He shouted with all of his might, but his little mouse voice was just too far from those giant elephant ears, all the way on the other side of that giant elephant body. He tried again, pushing on the elephant, and he tried tugging on his tail, and he tried pushing and tugging and tugging and pushing, but it was no use. He was stuck. Just when he was about out of breath, he saw a gazelle wander by. "Oh, gazelle," he called out, "it seems that this elephant has fallen asleep just on my tail in the middle of the meadow. If you could gently wake it up and ask it to roll over just a few inches in the other direction, I could go free." "I don't know about that," said the gazelle. "You know what they say about letting sleeping elephants lie. I find it's best not to get involved in other animals' business. I find it's best to remain neutral in times like these." Well, the gazelle wandered off, and Desmond said almost to himself this time, "I do not appreciate your neutrality." Desmond tried one final time to push on that elephant and tug on his tail and push and tug and tug and push, but it was no use. Just when he had about given up for the last time, he saw another animal wander by through the grass, a mouse. He called out, and the mouse ran over to introduce himself. "My name is Nelson. What seems to be the problem?" Desmond explained, "This elephant has fallen asleep just on my tail in the middle of the meadow. If you could run over to the other side of that giant elephant body and shout out to those giant elephant ears, maybe you could gently wake him up and he would roll over just a few inches in the other direction, and I could get free." No sooner had Desmond explained the situation than Nelson ran as fast as he could to the other side of that giant elephant body, and he shouted out to those giant elephant ears, "Excuse me! It seems you've fallen asleep just on my friend's tail in the middle of the meadow. If you could roll over just a few inches in the other direction, he could get free." But it didn't work. Even Nelson's voice on the other side of that giant elephant body, it was still too far from those giant elephant ears. Those ears way up on top of that giant elephant head. Didn't work. The elephant was too comfortable, and Nelson's voice was too small. So he ran back to Desmond and he said, "I think I might have an idea. Stay right here." Nelson ran off into the grass. And just when Desmond was starting to get worried, Nelson came back, and this time he had a whole group of other mice with him. Nelson had found 3 mice, and each of them had found another 3 friends. And the whole group of them ran all the way back to the other side of that giant elephant body. And one by one, each mouse climbed up on the shoulders of another mouse till they had a whole mouse ladder all the way up the back of that giant elephant head. And eventually, Nelson climbed up carefully, one by one, on the shoulders of his mouse friends until he stood on top of that elephant and shouted down right into its ear, "Excuse me! It seems you've fallen asleep on my friend's tail, and if you could just roll over a few inches in the other direction, he could go free." Well, his voice, right shouting down into that elephant ear, it was just too loud to be ignored. The elephant said, "Ahem," but then it rolled over just a few inches in the other direction. Nelson and his other mouse friends climbed back down, and they found Desmond, and the whole lot of them spent the whole rest of that day playing in the beautiful meadow. Archbishop Desmond Tutu has said, "If you say you are neutral in situations of injustice, you are a liar, for you have already taken sides with the powerful and with the oppressor." He said that if an elephant stands on the tail of a mouse, the mouse will never appreciate your neutrality. As Unitarian Universalists, we've envisioned in our hearts and we've articulated in our principles a goal of justice and equity and compassion in our world. And sometimes that means taking sides for justice, taking sides for equity, taking sides for compassion. To work to create the kind of world we want to live in, it means siding with love. May it be so, and may we make it so.
I want to invite you now to join me in a spirit of meditation, because this is a special weekend for another reason. The old song says, "Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Twas grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home." I thought of these old lyrics this week as we marked the passage of the 3rd anniversary of Vicky Chavez and her girls coming to live with us in our church. I thought of the grace that made her turn her car around as she was on her way to the airport, the grace that it took for her to take a chance on us. I thought about the grace of the volunteers who sprang into action, packing their bags to stay the night in church with her, converting a classroom into an apartment, complete with a shower and a laundry. I thought about the grace that has seen Vicky through many dangers so far. And then I thought about the grace that will soon and very soon bring her home to live in her own home. On that day, we are going to ring our church bell so loud that they'll hear it in Washington, D.C., they will hear it in Honduras, and they will hear it all over Utah. I can hardly wait for that day, but we're not there yet. Things are changing in our country, and the signs are more hopeful than ever before. But until the day when that bell rings out freedom once and for all, we renew our commitment to this family and to all families who are separated, harassed, targeted, struggling under our nation's unfair immigration system. And so I invite you now, if you are able, to type into the chat window your best wishes for Vicky and her family. Give Vicky and her girls your love in that chat window. I'll start by wishing Vicky freedom today and every day, for her girls to be free. Dorothy, Vicky, I'm sending you my love and support. The Chaston family, love to your Etsy. Wishing you a new home in the next year. Yes, yes, so close to freedom. Sonia, I love you, brave woman. We admire you. Safe and happy home. Better times are coming. Yes, yes, yes. May it be so. Your freedom is near. Keep the faith. Blessings of freedom and joy. Love and warm wishes. Yes, and thanks to the volunteers who have been through this for 3 years now. You've never given up, not one day. Thank you so much. Yes. All the way, with you all the way, a free and bright future. Beautiful wishes. Keep those wishes going as we continue on. I invite you once again into a spirit of prayer and meditation. God of all nations, you show yourself to us as grace that leads us home. Remind us that we find our home in each other. Whenever we care for those among us who need protection, remind us of where our home is and how good it feels to be home. And then refresh our courage for the long, hard work of welcoming every immigrant home to our communities. Bless our homes, bless our church home, and bless this family as they make their way home. Amen.
I learned this song while protesting and witnessing outside of a detention center here in Boston. It's a powerful song that has been sung in meetings, organizing people together to work for justice, and sung out in the streets and sung in the back of police vans and jail cells. Oye, mi gente, traemos la fuerza. La libertad es la única bandera. Oye, mi gente, traemos la fuerza. Listen, my people, we bring the power. La libertad es la única bandera. Liberty is the only flag. Oye, mi gente, traemos la fuerza. La libertad es la única bandera. Listen, my people, my condor, my eagle. No human being can ever be illegal. Listen, my people, my condor, my eagle. No human being can ever be illegal. Oye, mi gente, traemos la fuerza, la libertad es la única bandera. Oye, mi gente, traemos la fuerza, la libertad es la única bandera. Listen, my people, my condor, my eagle. No human being can ever be illegal. Oye, mi gente, traemos la fuerza, la libertad es la única bandera. Oye, mi gente, traemos la fuerza, la libertad es la única bandera. Listen, my people, my condor, my eagle. No human being can ever be illegal. No human being can ever be illegal. No human being can ever be illegal. I start off just about every day with a to-do list. Between you and me, to be honest, it is usually an overly ambitious to-do list. One of the things that I often start out the day putting on my list, and that is rarely checked off by the end of the day, is taking time for writing. I'm so dedicated to being a writer and making time for it that every day I put it on the list, and every day I read books about writing and collect prompts and story ideas so that when I do write, I'll have lots of ideas for it. I'm so dedicated to it that every day after I put it on the list, I finish other pressing commitments and other important tasks so that someday I will have lots of time to write. I'm so dedicated that certainly one of these days I will start writing. One of my favorite authors, Anne Lamott, talks about how hard it is, in fact, to just sit down every day and put your butt in the chair and write. She says, "The discouraging voices will hound you. This is all piffle," they will say. And they might be right. What you are doing may just be practice, but this is how you're going to get better. Some of the best writing advice I ever got was from a teacher who said, "Take a few minutes and for now, don't write. Just write what you would write if you were going to write." I sometimes feel like in all the years since I've gotten that advice, I haven't written anything since, but I have written a lot about what I would write if I did write. You might call this the practice of practicing, learning how to practice. The problem is that the end vision we might have for ourselves can feel just too far from our starting point. The end product might be too far from our ugly first draft. The world as we imagine it might just feel too distant from the world as it is. And so we don't even try. The demons of perfectionism stand in the way of writing just as they stand in the way of creative risk-taking in general. Which is unfortunate because we know that creating a life for yourself that doesn't exist yet requires some creative risk-taking. And in uncertain and anxious times like these, just showing up as your best self every day requires setting aside those discouraging voices that hound us. And even now, even after this inauguration, we know that the world we would like to build, the world of justice and equity and compassion, can feel so far beyond any horizon that we can see that, well, it means just imagining it means setting aside those voices that tell you your efforts are just piffle. When the demons of perfectionism show up like this, I try to practice the practicing of showing up for myself and for others. Musicians know something about practicing. One of the requirements for all students at Berklee College of Music, where I attended years ago, are 4 semesters of ear training. Now, ear training is writing down music just by listening to it, or singing it just by reading the notes on paper. When I first began school, I knew that there certainly were people who were capable of this kind of magic, but it seemed like some kind of Harry Potter nonsense to me. Like, you may as well ask me to sit at my desk and turn the desk into a toad using a conductor's baton. I remember the first day of ear training class, there was a sort of nervous silence among us students. Silence except for one student who was quite loud in his nervousness. There was one student in our class who interrupted the teacher in the first few minutes of the first day to share that he was worried the class was going to be too advanced for him. He wanted to make it clear that he knew, in fact, not a single thing about ear training. The teacher kindly paused his introductions to respond, saying that we had all taken entrance exams and he was sure we'd all been placed in the appropriate class. The teacher tried to continue, but was interrupted again. "Well," the man said, "is this the very lowest class though? Because I need to be in the very lowest class." Now, at this point, you could tell the teacher looked around the room kind of sheepishly, not really wanting to answer that, yes, we were in fact a class of the very most basic students. "Well," he said, "it is ear training 101, so it is the lowest, I guess. There is a class for people who have previously failed this one, but you all are just about the lowest." Some of the other students giggled a little bit at this man's anxieties. I was kind of glad at the time to hear that someone was questioning what felt to me like the absurd notion that sight singing even could be taught. I don't know what happened next for that student, but he never came back to our class. Not because anything we did on that first day was in fact too hard for him, I'm sure of it. But I think he lacked a belief that improvement was even possible. I kept going, thinking that if generations of students had done this before, it must be possible somehow. And I made a commitment to at least practice the material. I've always remembered this other student, though, who gave up before he started. It's not just that he didn't try to become a master at ear training. It's that he didn't even try the practicing of it, which always struck me as the real loss. When the discouraging voices hound me, I sometimes think of him, and I remind myself that maybe for now, the work I'm doing is just practice. But practice is how I'm going to get better. This past year has been a time of constant adaptation, of practicing new things, of the ground shifting beneath our feet. I imagine that the next year will, perhaps in different ways, be a time of fast changing, ground shifting times as well, of learning and relearning new ways of being together, of organizing our days differently, of organizing our people differently. This last year has been a time of loss and anxiety and uncertainty. But it has also been a time of imagination, imagining new ways of structuring our society, imagining new ways of being together. It was also a year of calling on those in power, which in some ways is all of us, to learn a different tune, to learn to play some new roles in our communities. Particularly as we look to an uncertain future, I believe this is a time for white folks in particular to practice some new skills and practice some new tunes. A time for listening in deeper ways we haven't always done so well before. A time for having hard conversations we haven't yet practiced enough. I know I won't all of a sudden do all of these things to build the world as it might be, just as I would like it, but I will practice the doing of them. Musicians know as well as anyone that muscle memory is very real. We know that consistent practicing changes the very structure of our brains, rewiring our circuitry, forging new connections and new possibilities. No one is born a musician. Musicians are just the ones that learned how to practice. Even songbirds need elder birds to sing to them and teach them their melodies. Practice doesn't make music perfect, but it makes music possible. And so let us practice the practicing together. Let us learn how to practice together in community, practicing the lifting up of voices that fight to be heard elsewhere. Let us practice speaking more truth and more love. Let us practice imagining that world of justice and equity and compassion. Practice won't make the world perfect, but it makes a better world possible. Someday, I want to be a true expert in justice and compassion. Someday, I want to be well practiced at creating that brave space. Someday, I want to be masterful at amplifying the voices that fight to be heard elsewhere. Someday, I want to be part of building a new world of justice and equity and compassion, even if it is so far beyond any horizon that we can see today. These are daunting tasks, to be sure. On most days, learning to transcribe a symphony seems more manageable. But that's okay, because for now, I don't have to do all of those things. I just need to practice doing what I would do if I were doing them. So dear ones, don't promise to be your best self today. Just be the person you would be if you were practicing being your best self. Don't try to rebuild a new world in the image of love this week. Just practice doing what you would do if you had committed to such things. You have the right to start somewhere and continue to grow. We have the responsibility to examine what we think we know. And so let us start together, let us grow together, and let us practice together. Our closing song is written by Sarah Lynch Thomason, a climate justice activist in Appalachia. This song, like I think the best music, and perhaps like the best faith communities, calls on us not to look away, not to turn away or ignore the crises of our time, but to face them directly, to speak of them honestly, and to address them together with courage in community. I invite you again to sing along at home. This is a great time to try out some new harmonies when not everyone can hear you. There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. There are more waters rising, they will find their way to me. There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know. There are more fires burning, they will find their way to me. There are more fires burning, this I know, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know. I will wade through the water, this I know, this I know. I will wade through the waters, this I know. I will wade through the waters when they find their way to me. I will wade through the waters, this I know, this I know. I will wade through the waters, this I know. I will walk through the fire, this I know, this I know. I will walk through the fire, this I know. I will walk through the fires when they find their way to me. I will walk through the fires, this I know, this I know. I will walk through the fire, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains when they find their way to me. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. There are more waters rising, they will find their way to me. There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know.
Matt, thank you for joining us today. What a joy to have you. If you enjoyed what Matt has done silently, muted, yes, lovely. Thank you so much, friends. Matt, would you like to extinguish the chalice?
Yes. Don't promise to be your best self today, beloveds. Just be the person you would be if you were practicing being your best self. Don't try to rebuild a new world in the image of love this week. Just practice doing what you would do if you had committed to such beautiful things. You have the right to start somewhere and continue to grow, and so let us start together and grow together, and let us practice together. Go in peace, go in love, and go and be blessed as you are a blessing to others.